Mamu ina akwaba ade banka TV native nani no konkohwe eye NDC akachi na enanim se eye Excellency John Dramani Mahama gonje ni dishi konkon aka ne 4 years pepe na we fi eye abamu akona another next person and I take over office na so da no kohwe eye NDC amanukunmetifo emu anjo baako say there is a very serious tension between honorable Okujeto Ablakwa honorable the foreign affairs minister versus the education minister honorable Haruna Idrisu tension center kwapa na da sankofu menu entema enya asengutwa na yelo apo adomotwe atenase a breaking it down. The reason why attention and as a confusion between these two parties. It's if when him says Excellency John Dramani Mahama ekokoda nipa kwa watweni obetumi take over from his office the vice president Professor Jenana Opoku Ajimana Ahwa betumi take over. As a Professor Jenana so start taking over, sankofu menu na ahwa betumi abaye the running mate which is honorable Haruna Idrisu and as Okujeto Ablakwa. Sanipa menu na some of the same number say the for rivalry partner between these two parties asem ketwa. Na similar thing kwa ekoso MPP amanyuku for once upon a time na MPP amanyuku na emunu jopa but because of say kwakoto aba eyomoyi flag regional party native for 5 important people more party native for ntokwa na wantwim ekoso omtem no asem ketwa na similar thing pa na ekoso ewoye NDC amanyuku. It's if we see people go tie sema lawyer Paul Adom Otru etinase no di tudu ne se na church ne nsemu
fighting. They are fighting gidi. And I'm going to tell you why they are fighting tonight. So what has happened is that first, for you to believe me that they are fighting, I need to show you 2 videos. Now, the first video I'm going to show you is Idrisu Haruna here speaking at Mauli Secondary School for their, I think it was their 75th anniversary, Mauli 75. And he said that you cannot keep your hair and come to school, and you remember that sparked off all the whether to keep the hair or not to keep the hair. The foreign minister, Okujeto Ablakwa, goes to his former school, having been invited as the guest speaker, which for this year at ßrèak was quite different from the special guest of honor. So there was a special guest of honor, and then there was a guest speaker, which was him. He is part of the government of Haruna Idrisu. He didn't have to say that, he didn't have to contradict the education minister. He didn't need to. In fact, it was wrong for him to. If I'm chief of staff, he's the one I'm going to punish. Because the one minister spoke first about it. Even if that's not the government position, another minister should not go public against it. So, our great friend from Odadie may be wrong in this regard. Because Idrisu Haruna spoke first. And he is the sector minister. He controls education. And he spoke and said that, your haircut, it won't work. I'm not interested. Go and cut your hair. Shut up over there. That's what he said. And what he said typically will represent the government's position. Then weeks down the line, Ablakwa comes to say the opposite. And in doing so, he talks down on the people who are thinking that hair is important. First, let's see Haruna Idrisu.
There is an ongoing debate in social media about haircuts and size and length of hair in secondary schools. We will not tolerate it today, we will not tolerate it tomorrow, and so long as we are molding character. If we give in to hair today, tomorrow it will be shoes, and the next day it will be the way they dress. Therefore, as part of our disciplinary measures, headmasters and GS, you are accordingly empowered to take full control of how students behave on your campuses. So anybody who thinks that your child will walk into any institution of learning as if that child, forgive my words, was to attend a beauty contest, the school environment is not for that purpose and not cut for that purpose, and would not tolerate that as an institution.
That was the Minister for Education speaking at Mauli Secondary School 75th anniversary. To all intents and purposes, the Minister for Education, Idrisu Haruna, was actually communicating the government position on the matter. To all intents and purposes, that's how it will appear, isn't it? He was communicating the government position on the matter. But then comes Okujeto Ablakwa last Saturday at the Odadie event. Come along and join us. So let's show it. Let's see what did Ablakwa say.
Instead of focusing on how strict religious doctrines are being enforced in our schools and the weird correlation between short hair and disciplined students. It is time to ponder over the real issues. Why is our educational system producing graduates who criminally create thousands of ghosts to fleece the state when real human beings are looking for jobs? Why is our educational system producing graduates who will destroy our environment, pollute our river bodies, and create a public health crisis for the rest of us just to advance their greedy galamsey search for gold? Why is our educational system producing graduates who lack ethical leadership? Why is our educational system producing graduates who commit Ghana to unconscionable transactions? Why is our educational system producing plutocratic graduates who want so much for themselves and don't care about the country they lead and the generations coming after them? To me, with all due respect, these are the weightier matters.
So the Minister for Foreign Affairs in his government is telling the Education Minister that, Chief, that's your ridiculous analysis of short hair and it has a correlation with discipline. I don't even understand it. That's not what you should be focusing on. Focus on why people come from the university that we are training them. They are doing this. You are a new Minister for Education. You have inherited the system. Check why the system produced those people and stop talking about things that are not important. That's the content analysis of the two videos. About 4 weeks apart. That's the content analysis. Ablakwa is fighting with Idrisu Haruna. Idrisu Haruna is fighting with Ablakwa. Ablakwa is fighting with him. My responsibility here, viewers, today is to show you that as a political news reporter, I know why. I know why they are fighting. So I'm going to take you through it. Stay with me. Don't go fast. Stay with me. I'm going to show you why they are fighting. It's for a very big price. They are not, they are not fools. They are not fools. They are fighting for a very big price. And they won't be fighting if the price is not big. It's huge. You can see, Saki has put on the screen, the tussle for VIP in NDC. That's what they are fighting about. That is the fight. They both of them want to be the next vice president if the NDC were to win 2028. And both of them want to be vice president for the same presidential candidate. So this is the vice president, Professor Jena Nopoko-Agyemang. She has long had an excellent relationship with Ablakwa in the Mahama first term. Let me tell you how that relationship occurred. Before the Mahama first term, during the campaign, she was a debate host. She and Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah were the host of the IEA debate. Sami Okudzeto Ablakwa was part of the team to prepare President John Dramani Mahama for the debate. So typically, between the IEA, the debate host, and the candidates people, they have some encounters. And it is there that I believe Ablakwa and Madam became quite tight. When the election was won, the vice president now revealed her NDC colors, because when she was a debate host, she didn't show that she's NDC, even though she had been at Radio Gold and many people thought that she was an Ato Ahoy protege. In fact, we made the point on social media, if you go, is there, when she was being chosen for the running mate position in 2020, that Ato Ahoy, who were represented by the word Church Street, because he had an important office in a Laboni street called Church Street. So that's how we call him in political parlance. When news reporters are talking, they talk of Church Street. They mean Ato Ahoy back in the day when some people also used to call him Don King and all of that. So when we are exchanging text, when they say Church Street says so and so, it means Ato Ahoy says so. So we put out a note that Church Street is pushing for Jena Nopoko-Agyemang to be the running mate of Professor Mills. I still remember who told me, but I won't say it today. Now, when she became running mate, before she became running mate, she was Minister for Education. When she was Minister for Education, Ablakwa was her deputy. So in the first Mahama term, they forged such a tight alliance as deputy and boss. Ablakwa was the more political deputy. She is the more technocratic vice chancellor of the university, blah, blah, blah.